Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something, well, a bit unusual for us. It's a complete podcast script designed to teach English. English is a second language.
Right.
Forget complex grammar rules for a second. Our mission here is really to uncover the hidden gems. Things about effective communication, cultural awareness.
Yeah.
Stuff that's baked into how everyday English is taught.
Especially around going out to eat. That's the scenario here.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've basically got the whole structure of a language lesson, dialogues in a restaurant.
From walking in.
Yeah, from arriving to ordering, even some small talk. Plus, the usual stuff. Vocab, grammar points, pronunciation tips.
Oh, yeah, and exercises, too.
And exercises, yeah.
Yeah.
And cultural notes specifically about, the American dining experience.
So, okay, we're not actually taking the lesson ourselves.
No.
But we're kind of reverse engineering it, trying to figure out what makes communication clear, successful.
Yeah.
Even if you're already fluent.
Totally.
And honestly, this might give you a fresh look at how you communicate.
I think so, because even if your English is, perfect, this offers a really interesting window into how language learning gets structured, how they make it engaging but also crucially effective.
Right.
You might even have some aha moments about learning in general, or how you connect with people from different backgrounds.
Okay, let's get into it then. The script kicks off with arriving at a restaurant, trying to get a table. There's this little dialogue. One person's the hostess, casual American diner setting. The other's a guest, no reservation.
And what's interesting, right away are those first phrases.
Yeah.
Well, think about, do you have a reservation? That implies a certain, formality.
Okay.
Planning.
Okay, yeah.
Versus the more direct, maybe more spontaneous, is there a table for two?
Right. And then you get that very American question almost immediately, booth or high top.
Exactly. Which, if you're not familiar with U.S. diners, that simple choice tells you something about the common seating options.
And the guest just says, booth, please. Simple preference, instantly understood. It's kind of neat how these tiny exchanges paint a picture.
Precisely. It shows how even these small preferences are, woven into the culture.
The script gives alternatives too, right?
Yeah.
Like asking about the window.
Yeah, can we sit by the window? And of course, how long's the wait? Essential, practical stuff.
So it's not just getting the table.
No, it's expressing what you want, understanding the wait time, the whole process.
And the script mentions pronunciation here too. Let's think about intonation.
Yeah, it reminds learners to focus on the natural flow, the rhythm and intonation when asking these questions.
So it's not just saying the words right.
No, it's about sounding, approachable, understood, capturing that natural melody.
Okay, that melody idea, the intonation. What does that really do for making someone sound natural?
Oh, that's a great point. Intonation is like the music of your speech, the ups and downs. It can totally change the meaning. Is it a question or a statement? Are you excited? Unsure. Getting that right helps you sound less, robotic.
More human.
Exactly. More natural to a native speaker.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so after getting seated, the script moves on to ordering food.
Another dialogue. Waiter takes the order.
And this is where it gets into specific requests, right? Substitutions. That could feel tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Even for confident speakers sometimes. But the key phrases here are so practical.
Like what?
Well, the waiter, ready to order, and the natural response, I'll have. That's how you start.
Okay, I'll have.
Simple. Then it shows how to customize, using phrases like, but no, I'll have the burger, but no onions.
Or changing a side dish.
Yeah. And a side salad instead of fries. Crucial for anyone with dietary needs or just, preferences.
It's interesting how direct it is. No mayo. Clear. Concise. But still polite enough in context.
Right. And offering that alternative with instead of is just standard. It's how you personalize your meal.
What about drinks?
Yep. Covered too. Sparkling water with lemon, please. Seems basic, but it's specific vocabulary and, again, polite phrasing.
And there's another way to order mentioned.
Yeah, the script points out the slightly more casual, can I get, which is also totally fine. Can I get the chicken sandwich?
Okay. And there's a pronunciation tip here too, wasn't there? Something about water.
Ah, yes. The classic American water sound.
Right.
It notes that the T often softens to sound more like a D. It's one of those little phonetic things that, helps you sound more local. And helps people understand you more easily.
That's fascinating. I never really stopped to think why it sounds like that. Is that Is that common in American English? That kind of sound shift?
Oh, yeah, quite common. Languages change, right, and
Yeah.
pronunciation is a big part of that. That T sound, especially between vowels like in water or butter, often becomes what linguists call a flap. Sounds kind of like a soft D.
Oh, flap. Okay.
Recognizing those little shifts is actually a big help in understanding rapid speech.
Gotcha. Okay, so after ordering, the script then shifts a bit, moves into like small talk and restaurant culture.
Exactly. Those little interactions that happen during the meal. Beyond just ordering and eating.
Like the waiter checking in.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
key one. How's everything tasting? Such a common phrase.
and the script gives you replies.
Yeah, natural, appropriate ones like, it's delicious, thanks. Helps learners handle that moment smoothly.
And asking for things, like more napkins.
Right. It emphasizes the polite way. Could we get some extra napkins rather than, sounding demanding?
It seems like a small thing, but it speaks volumes about etiquette, doesn't it? That politeness.
It really does. It's a great example of, well, effective communication just requires being considerate, framing things right, whatever language you're speaking.
So similar idea for asking for the bill.
Uh-huh. It teaches the correct phrase. Can we get the check? Simple, direct, polite.
And crucially, it tells you what not to do.
Yes. The cultural note about not snapping your fingers to get attention explains it's considered pretty rude.
That is so important. You could know all the words, but one wrong move like that.
Exactly. You could unintentionally cause offense if you don't know those unspoken rules. It's not just about the language itself.
It really highlights that cultural sensitivity piece.
Totally. Knowing the words is step one. Understanding how to act appropriately in that culture. That's vital for really connecting.
Okay, so stepping back, looking at this whole script, what are the big takeaways, the things that apply maybe more broadly than just learning English for a restaurant trip?
Well, one huge thing is the focus on real language, how people actually talk.
Not textbook language.
Right. Not overly formal or stilted stuff. The script uses natural conversational phrases. It seems to prioritize sounding natural, maybe even over perfect grammar, especially at first.
Because that helps you actually communicate.
Yeah. Fluency in those common phrases builds confidence, makes things smoother, even if you make a few mistakes along the way.
That makes a lot of sense. And it definitely connects to the focus on practical vocabulary.
Absolutely. Words and phrases you can use immediately. That makes learning feel relevant, less abstract.
And we keep coming back to the cultural side.
We do. Because the script isn't just teaching grammar, it's guiding you through the social dance of an American restaurant.
That kind of awareness is gold when you're traveling or just dealing with people from different backgrounds.
For sure. And thinking about it, the script itself shows really effective learning strategies.
How so?
Well, think about it. Dialogues for context, repetition for memory, breaking down vocab, giving those cultural tips.
Right. All pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, these are powerful techniques. You could apply them to learning almost anything new, really, not just language.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And what about confidence? You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I think it subtly underlines how important confidence is. By practicing these common scenarios, these everyday situations.
You feel less anxious.
Exactly. You build comfort. You feel more able to just jump in and interact. And that confidence boost, it makes a massive difference in how well you actually communicate, whatever your skill level.
So wrapping it up, we've done this deep dive into what looks like maybe a simple ESL script about ordering food. But through it, we've actually pulled out some pretty valuable ideas about practical communication, cultural know-how, effective learning, stuff that goes way beyond just English.
It really does. And it raises kind of an interesting question, I think, for you listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how often do we go through these routine interactions every day, ordering coffee, checking out at the store, whatever, without really being aware of all the subtle rules, the linguistic ones, the cultural ones that are shaping everything.
That's true. We just do it.
Right. So what other everyday things could we deep dive into like this? What hidden layers of communication might we find?
And how would knowing that actually change things?
Exactly. How might being more consciously aware of all those nuances actually improve your own interactions, even when you're just speaking your native language? Something to think about.